What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV. Now, I'm just here with a video reacting, really, to the Marko Arnautovic news that he wants to leave. I was going to do a setup. I was going to do a green screen. I've got a transfer video coming up in the morning, but I thought I'd just give you my quick 2 cents about this Marko Arnautovic, just on the phone, just like, what do you call it? Just on the phone, just like informal and all that sort of stuff. I'm not very well, so you can hear me. I'm struggling a little bit. But there's a story come out today, TalkSport. A Chinese club have put a £35 million bid in for Marko Arnautovic. And obviously West Ham have turned it down. But they've turned around and said that he's not for sale. He's got a contract. We expect him to see it out. But they expect all players to see their contracts out. They know that these players ain't going to see their contracts out. And they did say, basically, that if he was to go, he wouldn't go for that sort of money anyway. So I look at that in 2 ways. I see this 20 years ago, Rio Ferdinand, when Rio Ferdinand was sold to Leeds. Redknapp said at the time, he's not for sale. But one day I'll be to come in and we can't refuse it. So that stinks to me a little bit of like, up your bid and you'll get him. And I'll tell you why, I'll tell you why West Ham would be... Lily. Sorry, look. Say hello. Yeah. I'll tell you why... Get down. I'll tell you why that West Ham would be, I think, willing to sell him. It's because this is not the first time this has happened. Marko Arnautovic, it's getting up my nose a little bit. Marko Arnautovic is a fantastic player. I love Marko Arnautovic as a player. Wasn't too keen on him when he first come. And if you look at the way he forced to move out of Stoke, it doesn't bode too well for the future. But when you look at Marko Arnautovic's brother, now, Marko Arnautovic's brother has been a thorn in our side ever since he's come to the club. He was quoted in the press saying, like, recently, that he wanted to go to Man United. He wanted to have Champions League football, blah, blah, blah. And this is my opinion on what I think's happened with a Marko Arnautovic situation. Now, I think what's happened is he was up for a move to Man United. They was going to bid some sort of money for him. And that's why he come out, oh, he wants to play in the Champions League. He wants to do this. He wants to do this before he retires. Which, at the time, I said, I won't blame him if he wants to go and better himself. Yeah? But I think what it is, he had a little agreement with Man United when Jose was the manager. They'd obviously been courting him, saying like, yeah, we'll bid for him. Just wait till January, and then we'll have to start making all this fuss again. Obviously, Jose Mourinho has lost his job at Man United, and what I think's happened is he's given him a little tout around before, and some Chinese club have turned around and go, do you know what? If he comes here, we'll give him sort of like 600 grand a week or 500 grand a week or whatever it is. He's a fantastic player still. He's still in his prime. We'll pay that sort of money for him. And Arnie's brother's thought, do you know what? I want a bit of that. I want a fucking bit of that. Let's have a bit of that 600, 500 grand a week. I'm going to get a load of money. It's going to be a big transfer fee. Fucking happy days, yeah? Now, I don't think there's any smoke without fire. And I said this when he said he was going to go to Man United. I don't think there's any smoke without fire. And what it is, I think that Arnie's brother is pushing for him to move the club. He's getting bored. You know, it was an excuse of, and these are always excuses, oh, he wants to play Champions League football, he wants to play Champions League football. Now there's no sort of like excuse for him to go, because who the fuck is going to leave the Premier League for China unless it's to do with a pound note? He's turned around and said, oh, you know, he wants to try himself, he wants to win titles and all that. Look, winning titles in China, he might as well come and play for Thames Ironworks Community, because that's what the title means, in the sort of grand scheme of things. And he thought, yeah, I'm having a bit of this, 500 grand a week. Now, in my opinion, if this is true, and I tend to believe that it is true. I think there's a little bit more to this story than meets the eye. I think that Arnie would leave for China. Tell him to fuck off, because we've had the same thing with Demi Payet. Now, if he's going to leave, yeah, then it needs to be under our terms. With Dimitri Payet, he forced his way out, and we can't let this happen again. We need to talk to the player, make sure that, you know, he's still playing for us in the meantime. But at the end of the day, no player is bigger than West Ham United. No player is bigger than the club. We've seen legends come and go. We've seen heroes be bought and be sold. And we're still here. You know, we move on. Like, we moved on after Dimmy. We moved on after Paolo. We moved on after Dixie. You know, once they leave, you know, we have to crack on because, as I said before, you know, they're no bigger than the club. You know, we've seen heroes come and go. We've seen strikers come and go. And he's no different to any of them. You know, it'll sting for a little bit, but if he doesn't want to be at the club, he doesn't have to be at the club, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, tell him to fuck off, because if he doesn't want to be at my club, I don't want him to be at my club. And the reason why I say these sort of things, and the reason why I think there's the truth, is it because he doesn't come out. If that was my brother, if I was playing for West Ham, look, Arnie's brother doesn't play football. Yeah, Arnie's brother is an agent. Now, that's his brother. It's not a client. You know what I mean? It's not a client, it's his brother. Now, if he's saying these things, if it goes tits up, there's a chance that Arnautovic could be fucking unwelcome at the London Stadium anymore. Like, if it comes out that he's saying all these things and wants to join these clubs, there's a chance that the crowd might turn on him. Yeah? If that ain't true, and Arnautovic is letting his brother say this, you know, to national press, if it ain't true, I'd say to my brother, what are you fucking doing? Like, because it's not the first time he's done it. It could have gone wrong when he said he wanted to go to Man United. It's not the first time. You'd say to him, what the fuck are you doing? And the second time he'd done it, you go, you know what, fuck off. I'm going to get myself a decent agent, because it's not you that's going to get the stick. That's why I don't think I think there's truth to the rumour. I think there's something in it. Now what West Ham have to do is just go to this Chinese super club. At the end of the day, he's happy to sign a 4-year contract, 5-year contract, taking the money. So we own the rights to him. You could just turn around and say to him, look, if the money ain't right, you're not going in January. And, like, we want the money. They need to set up. They need to be going out today, going to find someone to replace him. And it ain't easy. And it's not cheap. Going out, finding someone to replace him and saying to them, right, this is what it takes to replace him. This is what you've got to play plus a little bit more. Because that's the way West Ham have got to play. You can't have another Dimitri Payet situation where you hold it out all summer and then 2 days before the window he leaves. Because if he leaves, then we won't replace him and the money will just go into someone's skyrocket. You know what they're like. But if they're serious, West Ham, and they're serious about it, there's a way to handle this. Just turn around and say, right, we want, say, let's, for instance, now I'm just picking a name out of the hat here. Just for instance, we said, right, we want Aubameyang, right? And I am literally picking a name out of the hat here. We're never going to get Aubameyang, don't get me wrong, right? And Arsenal say, right, to replace him, we want Aubameyang, right? And Arsenal say, well, if you want to buy Aubameyang, it's going to cost you 100 million quid. Then say to the Chinese club, look, if you want him, and you want him desperately, the replacement's going to cost 100 million quid. It's 100 million quid. Like, no way Arnautovic is worth 100 million quid. But you're going to want at least 50, 60 million pounds for him to replace him in this day and age, especially in this market as well. So, look, I think there's truth in the matter. I think West Ham would accept a bid. They'd be silly if they didn't have anyone lined up to come in for that sort of money. But I think there is truth to the rumour. And in my opinion, if he wants to go, let him go. So, you know, that's my opinion. But look, tell me what you think in a comment section down below. I know there's going to be a load of angry people saying, oh, he ain't doing this, he ain't doing that. But listen, as I said before, it's his brother. There's no smoke without fire. He's been in the national press today saying that he wants to leave West Ham. He wants to, his great desire to leave, and he wants to go to China. If he wants to go to China, let him go to fucking China. That's what I'll say. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, joining me for my little rant. What do you think? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Who do you think should replace him? If he was to go to China, who do you think could replace Marko Arnautovic? Callum Wilson, perhaps? Someone of that ilk? Or would you like to see a like-for-like striker come in? Have we got enough already in the club? Andy Carroll, Javier Hernandez, Lucas Perez. They're all touted to be leaving at some point. Every single one of them players have been rumoured to be leaving. So that's 4 strikers now that we've got leaving the club. Would you take the money, sign someone half as good and sign a decent midfielder to go with it? Look, who knows? But thank you for listening to this rant. One thing left to say. Come on, you irons.